All right, here we are, episode number 57 of the Oklahoma Weather Show. We are now into the beginning of June. Severe weather season has really kind of come down here across Oklahoma. What an amazing last 6 weeks we had across the southern plains when it comes to heavy rain and severe weather. Brad, you and I, we can finally take a little bit of a breath here. How's it feel to be able to just enjoy your Saturday or your Saturday? I wish it was Saturday.
Hey,
how's it feel to enjoy your
every day
Wednesday
is Saturday now, right? With compared to what Oklahoma has endured for the last couple of months. I guess storm season kind of started a little early. March 25th, more tornado. EF2 came into more, and then ever since then, for the last April wasn't all that busy, I don't think, now that I remember. But May, we've had 2, 3, 4 weather events every week. And now we're just getting a chance to settle down.
You know what I would describe this severe weather season? I call it sloppy busy, because there was never really a day that just set up and we all knew that this was going to be the big day. Every day just kind of had that, it could be bad, but it could also be ruined by some morning storms. And we're just going to have to play every single day as it could possibly be bad, easier to scale back than to ramp up. And I think probably the one day that caught many people off guard was the day when we had that huge wedge tornado out near Pecasset. I mean, that wasn't supposed to happen. It was like, what, 60 degrees? Dew point was like,
I think we were, Pocasset was right around 70, from what I remember. And I was right there in Tuttle, right next to it, and we were there around 70. But the dew point was about 68, so 70 over 68. And that was a tough day because you didn't have a lot of thermodynamic ingredients. Your cape wasn't all that high. I think we were running 1,500, 1,800 cape. And even your upper level wind shear wasn't all that strong. Your 500 millibar winds were 30 knots. Okay. Yeah. But you remember this, and from surface to 700, you went almost 180 degrees with directional wind shear, and you saw what happened there.
Well, and it just goes to show you, Brad, that during the month of May, you don't need these 3,000 cape days and a day full of sunshine and then afternoon clouds to really get things going. We had our crews in the right position. You were kind of looking at the blow off of it because the storm was coming in your direction. And the storm spun up so fast that day that I feel like by the time the tornado warning went out, it was already too late.
Yeah.
They just went so fast.
Well, I think a lot too, we were struggling with radar in the field that day too. Some of the radar sites we use, I guess TLX and Frederick, were only spitting out old school radar. A lot of times we use, of course, the level 2, level 3. We're just getting level 1 data. And that's hard to see. Second of all, that was a tough day because the ceilings were so low. I think when we were headed out, you could only see about half of the Devon Tower. Yeah. 400 feet up. So everything looked like a wall cloud. I didn't know what was a wall cloud. Everything looked like a tornado. That was just a tough day.
That was a day where every lowering, you just had to automatically assume it was a tornado because, you're right. Sky 5, it needs about 1,000-foot ceiling for it to get up. And we were talking to our pilot, and he was like, nope, not happening. And then he's Chase Rutledge, love the guy, and he is currently flying along the border. He's doing border patrol right now. And so he finally decided, I'm going to get up, during this deluge of rain. And I think he made it down to Penn Square Mall, and he's like, nope, can't go any farther south than Penn Square Mall. And of course, he got all that flooding video. Hey, speaking of radar, though, Brad, you were all excited about this Apple Watch. You got to tell me what happened. You turned you sent it back, huh?
No. Well, you know what? I'm still wearing it. Okay.
Okay.
But I'm sending this one back. I'm getting the bigger one.
Why don't you just slap the whole phone on your hand?
Damon and I were talking before we started this. He goes, so how do you like your Apple Watch? And I'm like, well, I'm sending it back. And I'm like, hey. He's like, why? So this is kind of like, well, let's not get into it yet. Let's wait till we start the broadcast. Well, look, I bought it for a workout partner. I like, because I carry my phone and when I run, and that's kind of tough. But with this, I got the smaller display, and I can't. It's too small. When I run, I know what to watch, but I have to hold it up in front of my face, and I think there's one that's a little bit bigger. So I think if I got the bigger one, then I'm set.
I thought that this was going to be the day that Brad just decided to say, you know what, I'm done with Apple. I'm sending the watch back. I'm going to go Android.
Well, right now, Apple has my heart right now, because they are ahead of the curve when it comes to everything talking together and working together. Okay. Google now, they just had their recent big developers conference. Their new launch campaign is everything will talk together. So once Google beats them, I'm willing to jump ship. But right now, Apple doesn't have a lot of competition when it comes to things just working together and just working.
I'm still on the bandwagon. I'm still a Google guy. Hey, speaking of things working together, here's something interesting that I saw that was in News OK this morning. Lawton decided to cancel their cloud seeding project, which they actually started back in the middle of April, right when our rainy weather pattern started. And then Lawton was hit with an incredible amount of rain at the end of last week. Brad, how are we going to be able to tell if this cloud seeding thing actually worked or not? I mean,
I thought this whole announcement of this project kind of had, I wouldn't have said that, written all over it, and then had bad written across, weather modification. There's a lot of history with people being disgruntled about weather modification. Plenty of people, I'm sure somebody associated with HARP or chemtrails or something is going to chime in on this. We'll get lots of comments. That's fine. We'll have a discussion. Just don't hijack the thread. There's a lot of discussion about weather modification, and when you cloud seed, you run the risk of our Sue Happy society. Somebody, now I'm kind of wondering, after the recent flooding that they had, there are going to be a couple of lawyers that step up and,
here's my thoughts on it, is that cloud seeding in KSWO down in southwestern Oklahoma, their TV station there, Lawton, did a wonderful story called it was I want to say like a multi-part story about cloud seeding, and I watched it, and the guy had these flares that were attached to the side of this small airplane. It wasn't a huge military style airplane, but I think you can only get a good idea as to how cloud seeding is working when you have isolated storms. But all of these storms that came in across Oklahoma, they were widespread. It's not like Lawton picked up 7 inches of rain and then Waurika picked up 1 inch of rain. I mean, we all averaged, I think, well over 14 inches of rain, making this the wettest month of the entire year. So there are probably going to be some people that are saying, well, it obviously worked, because when we cloud seeded, we ended up having record rainfall. Well, that pattern was already set well before the plane decided to take off. So they canceled the project early. Yeah. Which was smart. I mean, it's just money going down the drain. However, Brad, you mentioned a very good point about there will likely be some lawyers that are going to come in, and you see the flooding damage down there. There's going to be a case that can be made, and this isn't the only time that we have seen at least some type of potential lawsuit come out from cloud seeding, or at least the talk of a lawsuit, because even a couple years ago, Amarillo did it. They sprayed about, I want to say about 20 miles east of Amarillo, and what developed was a huge hailstorm, which I wish I could get a picture of it, and I'll try to pull it up. But it led to this huge hailstorm, this massive flooding. At least that was what happened that day. Now, whether or not that happened because of cloud seeding or not, but it ruined a bunch of ranch land. Fences were taken down. Cattle got loose. I have yet to hear at least a 100% positive story because of weather modification. There's always something.
Well, what's tough is, sure, somebody would love to sue over this, but like we were talking a minute ago, the research and understanding of how it affects, you're going to have one hard-hitting, smart lawyer to be able to prove that what you did is a direct result of flooding in your area. I can't imagine a lawyer being able to do that. Maybe there's something I don't know about, but I mean that seems like a tough undertaking.
It is, and I've actually worked a couple weather cases before where in Oklahoma, suing because of acts of God that they call it is very challenging. So this is actually here. This happened the day that there was some cloud seeding. That's hail, and look at that guy just standing right in the middle. That's as big as I could get the picture. He is standing in a hail drift, and that happened the day that there was some weather modification outside of Amarillo. So I think for a lot,
but I mean,
say what?
It's tough to prove, but that's an amazing picture. Yeah.
Oh, it is. I mean, that guy standing in, it's got to be at least a 5-foot hail drift. So it's, this whole weather modification thing, it's interesting, but I would say right now you cannot prove whether or not it's working. And this year, I don't know how much money they spent to do this down in Lawton. I know it was I think it was just one pilot that would go up every day. However, this weather pattern was already set in stone. I would say if you want to do weather modification, don't do it during the wettest time of the entire year.
Yeah.
Do it like in July or something like that. But I'm sure there are physics
here before he starts barking at me.
Yeah, I'm sure there are physics behind it. So the dog is giving you some giving you the fritz there.
He wanted in. He'll start barking at me if I don't let him in. There are a lot of places that believe in this. Summit County, Colorado, around Breckenridge, up to Keystone, Aspen, there along the Continental Divide. Well, actually, not Aspen, Arapahoe Basin, Copper Mountain. They all join together. I don't know if I got the exact resorts correct. There may be one or two more or less. Join together and do cloud seeding every winter to try to increase the snowpack on their slopes. And they still do it. They've been doing it for years and years and years. And this year, Damon and I, you were tweeting back and forth with A Basin this
Yes.
morning. They're still open for skiing. Here it is, June 3rd. That's not too unusual for them. They usually try to make it till Memorial Day weekend. But here it is June 3rd, and they still have a 4-foot snowpack. And the mountain looks like it's February. Just an incredible amount of snow up there. I don't think it's a direct result of cloud seeding, but really Colorado's been chilly lately and very heavy rainfall.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm trying to find this tweet that A Basin sent us earlier. So it always warms my heart when a ski resort finds us and responds to one of our tweets. I didn't get to go skiing this year, so it actually my dad had asked me if I wanted to go skiing down in Argentina this August. And I was like, well, we've already got a beach trip planned, and so we won't be able to. But I am totally going to be getting back on the slopes next winter.
I think these guys said that they're going to stay open until, well, they're going to be open this weekend, and then just open up on weekends throughout the rest of mid-June. And this may be one of those years where if it stays cool enough, they'll be open to all the way up into July 4th. And I know that they have been open to July 4th before. And here I've got the picture pulled up if I can get back to mine.
It's got to be a PR. I mean, is it basically between A Basin and Loveland on who can open the earliest and close the latest? Is that how this works?
It not necessarily closing the latest. I know that they've always tried to. Well, I can't get it to pull up. I know that they've always A Basin's always been the one to close the latest. They just are able to hang on to the snow a little bit longer. But the early open, it's been between Loveland and A Basin every year for the first in the country to open up.
What are they skiing on? Do they try to keep the whole mountain open, or they just?
Oh no. Usually, the mountain starts off pretty high up, and we should pull up the website at least.
Yeah,
the mountain starts off pretty high up. Their base chair is about 10,900 feet at A Basin, and a lot of times they have to plow some snow down from a little higher up just to keep it there at the very bottom. So the hardest part for them is to get the first chair open. I think that they usually just keep open 2 or 3 runs, but they just plow all the snow from the other slopes on those and just keep packing it down, especially here in the next couple of weeks when it gets up in the 70s up there. So
that's impressive. So yeah, here you go. So base elevation, yeah, 10.7, summit 13.
You have to hike that 13 there. That top 600-700 feet. You're climbing. You know,
a lot of ski resorts are doing that these days, where they give you access not quite to the top, and you gotta climb a little bit higher up. So it can be a little deceiving.
That climb in there at A Basin, if you want to do some extreme double diamond stuff, there you go. But you and my experience on that terrain is subject to interpretation.
Bring an oxygen tank. That's what you need when you're up there trying to huff and puff.
That's the only mountain I've ever been on where I ended up laying down in the car.
Oh no!
Yeah, that altitude just zapped me.
So we're talking about skiing. You can tell that obviously Brad and I like to ski. It is now June, and we're already looking forward to what's coming in here this winter.
I mean, heck, man, it's I was gonna sit outside, but I've got 88 over 69 here at 12:14.
I'm gonna have to find. I'd have to dig through a bunch of pictures. A couple of years ago, after we had a very, very wet spring, there was a day when it was about 98 over 76.
Oh.
And you want to talk about an incredible amount of humidity. It was 96 with, I think, a heat index of like 110. I broke out the heat index map for the first time yesterday.
Did you? What words do you use? I see. I have, for the last 10 years, to describe moisture in the air, I've called it moisture. Apparently, people hate the word moist and moisture. Probably people watching right now just cringed when you said that.
You know what? I've read some stories about why people do not like that word.
Yeah, I actually read about it a half an hour on it yesterday. I don't know why, but apparently the combination of the word oi, the O-Y, the oi sound makes people kind of twitch a little bit.
It's got to be an English thing then, because in Spanish you have A-Y, which I guess is I, oi, I don't know. And
apparently women hate it worse. This is what I read. Women despise the term more than men.
Interesting. So, do you have a way around it, or how are you going to function this summer? I was working on it
this morning. I've probably said it 62,000 times, no shorter than that in the last 10 years that I've been doing TV. So this morning, I need to open up a thesaurus, just come up with some other words. But this morning, I didn't say it. I said damp a lot.
There's a lot of things in the Weather Center. A thesaurus is not one of the things that I think we have sitting. Although, does anyone ever even get a thesaurus or a dictionary anymore? Or they just go online?
Like
everything's digital.
Encyclopedia. They still make those? Yeah, the printed encyclopedia.
Growing up, we had an encyclopedia set from like the 1970s, and I think nowadays you have Encyclopedia Britannica, which comes on it used to come on a DVD. Nowadays, it's probably all digital. I don't even know if they're even selling those books anymore.
We don't go to Wikipedia.
Yeah, Wikipedia. Yeah, I'm anxious for the next couple weeks. Hopefully, it can just settle down. Brad, we're getting ready to go into our next season, our MCS season, which means that there's going to be some early morning, late nights for you and I, tracking storms that come out of Colorado. We do get a little bit of a break, but at least our next complex of storms comes in overnight. Which means that
hope this rain doesn't stop. Now that it's been, a week since it's rained, I think we could probably use a shower here in a couple days, because I know I'm already spraying the garden down a little bit. Again.
You know what? I just watered the plants right before we started this show. I did that. I did have to turn on the sprinkler system yesterday's. The lawn service people came out and put down some fertilizer, so I did have to turn it on. Brad, for me, the perfect day this time of the year is about 90 degrees, and then give me a good afternoon thunderstorm, kind of cool things down.
Yeah, it sounds like going to the beach.
It is. I know. It's like you're at Disney World.
Nice. Yeah, we did. I think the rule of thumb is an inch of rain a week for your lawn.
If you ever
But
Bermuda.
after you come out of 20 inches in a month, how much that May, dude? May was crazy. You know, I wanted to find out. Maybe you can add in on this, but obviously anywhere in Oklahoma has never seen this kind of rain again. Do you know of any other cities in the country where it has, you know, an inland city where you've had 18, 19, 20 inches of rain in a month?
You know, I don't know. You know, I mean, I would say I want to throw out Texas, but Texas borders the coast. I don't know.
Because I'm thinking tropical. I mean, I don't think it's too hard for New Orleans or Miami or you know, any of those tropical cities. You get a couple landfalling hurricanes or tropical storms, you can knock that out pretty quickly. But for somewhere, you know, that's 500 miles from the coast or more, it doesn't seem so common.
No, and you know, I was a couple of days ago, I was looking at some weather model data that was showing the remnants of Hurricane Blanca out across the Pacific, eventually getting caught up into the winds and then coming in and across the plains. And actually, it was, if you looked at some of the ensemble models, there were a couple, Brad, that were squeezing out 12 to 14 inches of rain across northern Oklahoma. Now, that was looking at ensembles, and you know, if you looked at the mean, it certainly wasn't that much. I used to look and pray for something tropical to come up here during the summertime just to help out with the drought. I do not think that anymore, but these days that we have outside right now, they're nice, but this is how a drought begins, you know, with the sunshine. So I think right now, at least getting a good soaking rain every 2 weeks is what we need. So it's been about a week.
Scattered showers would be good right now because, I mean, some of the lakes, I mean, they're still so flooded. I know it was just Sunday that Texoma topped out, and Texoma has only been falling a foot or so. I mean, their areas is completely underwater down there.
It really is impressive, you know, and especially if you do the math as to just how much rain fell across the state, it really is humongous. As a matter of fact, actually,
that calculation that I saw that was incredible.
Yeah, so look at this image right here. I want to do a screen share, and this was taken actually from MODIS satellite. So it does one swipe every day, and so you can see how the plains looked last year and then this year. Look at the difference in greenery. Now this day is probably a little dusty, a little hazy. And you can kind of see that, but look at how green everything is now from space compared to last year.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, it'd be interesting to talk to some farmers as well on how the wheat crop has done. Of course, wheat, you know, such the multi-billion-dollar industry. You always hear about oil and gas, because that's definitely more visual, I think, where you know, I can go Google right now the price of oil per barrel, and you can see it going up or down. But with wheat, sometimes you don't know until after the harvest. But you can get some pre-indicators of, you know, can you harvest it? Is it molded? What's it like? And I know, Damon, you talk a lot to the ag radio stations and do that agricultural forecast. What are they saying?
You know, it's been a really weird year because actually there were parts of the state that were dealing with another wipeout. We basically said the wheat crop is done, and then we got the April rain that helped out. But a lot of people couldn't get in the field during the month of May because it was so wet. I'm gonna have to check with them and see where they are now. I imagine mold's gonna be a pretty big issue, you know, in the days and weeks ahead. You know, so it's tough working in the ag community in this part of the United States where the weather drives it all. And you know what? When we talk about the averages, and you know, the average is really, you know, the average of extremes. You know, when we say, oh, the average high temperature today is 83 degrees. Well, sometimes it could be 100, sometimes it could be 60. So it's tough out here. Anything else you want to add? You know, a nice casual show, kind of get us back into this.
I love the fact we haven't been to 90 officially. I think that's about ready to change.
Yeah, it will. It will.
Yeah, May 6th is the average first 90.
And the latest I think we've gone is somewhere at the end of June.
2 years ago, it was June 10. After that May 2013 soaking. So June 10, and I think we'll probably get there before that. I mean, we're so close to it even right now that today may be it. I wouldn't be surprised if it stayed at it. Now this wind's pretty up outside, so that may keep it mixed up a little bit.
Yeah, I did lower my high temperature by a degree from yesterday when I saw the wind. I went from 88 to 87. Another big question that we can start looking at in the future is, the 100-degree days. A lot of people say, oh, we're not going to hit 100-degree days. There will likely still be a couple 100-degree days in here.
There's a lot of warm season left here.
I know we haven't even officially gone into summer yet.
Yeah, if it stops raining, if this is a dry June and dry July, you'll have 15 days of 100 in August.
Yeah. So too soon to make a 100-degree forecast, but I know there'll be a couple thrown in there somewhere at least. So
let's go to A Basin. Let's go skiing.
I know. Deal.
You know what I like doing? I'm the type of person that likes to go to the grocery store when it gets too hot and just go into the walk-in freezer, just kind of stand there and it's just cold. Then go right back out into the heat.
It's amazing how 72 degrees in the house with the AC running feels pretty chilly, but 72 degrees with the heater on feels really warm. Burning up. So we got it 72 in the house. So, well, hey, go grab some lunch. So good catching up. This is sometimes the only way that Brad and I can really talk because we work in completely opposite schedules.
You have to call it work in order to catch up.
That is too. So, all right. Have a good lunch.